AskReddit by Luki. What quietly went away without anyone noticing? Acid rain. It was a huge environmental issue in the late 70s through the early 90s. Rain was acidic and damaged fertile areas among other things. In the US there was much research done and eventually industrial regulations were put into place. Companies were allowed to decide what approach they chose to take as long as the results showed the appropriate amount of reduction in sulfur dioxide emissions. Unfortunately, positive news doesn't sell, so news outlets did not do justice to reporting this success. As we went into the 2000s, hardly anyone remembered what was done. Edit. Thank you for the upvotes and the awards. And the ozone layer repairing. When you turn off the TV, how the image would shrink to a dot before slowly fading away. And then when you run your finger on the screen and hear the crackle and feel the static on the glass. Edit. A few words. Richard Simmons. Butterflies. I saw them all the time growing up and now it's an event if I see one. Yo-yos. They were all the rage back in my school as a kid and they just disappeared overnight. Nobody even noticed it was just a fad that died. They'll be back. The popularity of yo-yos goes up and down. Facebook poke wars. My crush and I used to poke each other all the time. Waterbeds. Used to have one. Nothing like forgetting to turn on the heater an hour before bed in the middle of winter. Traveler's checks. 90% of checks in general. People calling them camera phones. Flash mobs. Actual toys in cereal boxes and Cracker Jack boxes. And contests where you could win just by checking the packaging instead of scanning a QR code and making an account on fucking mountaindew.com. https://mountaindew.com/dart. Picture-in-picture TVs. I miss this. Playing Crash Bandicoot in the tiny corner of the screen while my mom watched General Hospital on the rest of the screen. Stumbloopin. I remember all my classmates and my mom used to use it years ago. I miss Stumbloopin. Learned some neat things that I'd never would have found otherwise. Now I just scroll Reddit for hours instead. The uproar around devices always listening. Xbox One Kinect was an uproar and now you pretty much can't buy a device that isn't always listening. What kind of nuts is THST companies are finding it difficult to actually do anything or monetize all the data they collect with them? Over at Amazon, the massive failure of Alexa to actually do anything for Amazon has become a major internal problem and a colossal money loser. Ruffle dropped off of the face of the planet and now we just go straight from lol till mayo. Rufflecopter. Deleted. Grocery store clerks got tired of little kids throwing them on the floor. HQ trivia. I remember the thrill of winning and getting $0.17. Absolutely worth it. McDonald's all-day breakfast menu. I will never forgive them. Landlines in residences. The jacks are still in almost any house but I rarely see anything plugged in anymore. The only people I can think of with them are all over 60. I live in a rural area and have to pay for landline service to have internet. Since I have to pay for something so stupid, I figured I'd have to get something stupid, so I got the hamburger phone from Juno. Not gonna lie, the landline has come in clutch a few times and holding a hamburger to your ear is amusing every time. 10/10. 3D TVs. They are still making 3D Blu-rays though. I think people have noticed now but at the time, nobody noticed it was happening. 24-hour stores. I live in a major city and we don't have a single 24-hour grocery store ever since the pandemic. That was basically the only thing that changed for me during the pandemic. I couldn't get groceries after work at midnight. Sierra Mist. I saw the replacement brand in stores last week, but until I read the press release the other day I had no idea Pepsi had discontinued Sierra Mist at all. I just had a Sierra Mist out of a soda fountain tonight. I wonder if it was actually Sierra Mist. Movie trailers with that deep voice guy doing the voiceovers. Don LaFontaine 10. He's been dead near 15 years now. The American chestnut tree. We sing chestnuts roasting over an open fire every year and yet never question why we have no chestnuts. All the chestnut trees are dead is why, you see. We noticed and we're working to get them back. Just taking a long time. The Sears Wish Book. Sears. Shelly Miscavige. Hey there Shelly, haven't seen you in a while. That class for keyboard typing and stuff. Then all the kids were better at computer stuff than teachers. But now, these Zoomers with their Apple pads and cellular telephones don't know how to type, so it's coming back around. Anyone remember spinning rims on cars? Nah, my rims never spun. To the contrary. You'd find that they were quite stationary. Politicians feeling ashamed when they're caught lying. Them getting disgraced and turfed when it happened. The word cyberspace. Surfing the World Wide Web. Got I and LMFAO. Very 2011. So B. What the hell? This is the answer. I haven't seen Sobe in years now that I think about it. Taco Bell used to have a Chihuahua as their mascot. Little dude just disappeared one day and anyone born after 2000 probably doesn't even know what I am talking about. I still have a stuffed toy version of that dog. He says the usually Oquiro Taco Bell but then also quotes a very specific Taco Bell ad that cross-promoted a Godzilla movie. He says he lizard and I think I need a bigger box. The net neutrality thingy. Most providers decided to adhere to net neutrality, understanding that new administrations can change the makeup of the FCC. Clanking. A guy in my town should have gotten that memo. Several months ago he was planking on the railing of a pedestrian bridge that pretty high up in the middle. He lost his balance and rolled off onto the ground below and died. Murder hornets. It's one of those rare things that was actually dealt with. The Washington State Department of Agriculture did a great job. None were found in Washington State or BC in 2022. Google Plus. There were dozens of us. Dozens. Taylor Lautner. He seems like a nice guy but I don't think he has the acting ability to escape the stigma of being in Twilight like Robert Pattinson. Ronald McDonald. Too many people are petrified of clowns. Also McDonald's was under a lot of heat for how they market to kids. Childhood obesity and all. Altoid sours, those tangerine ones hit different. Ringtones. JZ said no more and they were done. That's a really weird thing. Now with smartphone we somehow just went back to standard ringtones. Public spaces where you have a reasonable expectation that you are not being filmed. When I go out to the middle of the woods, either hiking or hunting, I fully expect someone's hunting camera to catch me peeing one day. We really are always being filmed. It's a weird feeling. I want to know WTF happened to my salsa verde Doritos. I work in a store that has Doritos. I had to explicitly ask the vendor for salsa verde Doritos a couple weeks ago. We just got them in last week. I bought every bag. Telephone books. And on that note, payphones. Jack Nicholson. He felt his game slipping so he retired. A couple projects have courted him for a comeback, but apparently he has trouble remembering lines now, and he'd rather not go out on a weak note. Anyone remember playing with Pogs? Do ya remember Alf? He's back, in Pog form. Travis Scott concert death controversy. Money makes everything go away. Free samples. I used to see free sample stands every time I went to a store, now they are gone. I now realize, from all the comments, that Costco apparently still has them. Yeah, I think Covered got rid of those. At least that's when I noticed 80% of them weren't there anymore at my local Harris Teeter. I used to be so social. Until I realized I could just disappear without anyone noticing. So I experimented. Nobody ever noticed. Anti-marijuana commercials. The one where a girl is literally like a deflated balloon on the couch. When I saw that I thought, damn, I want what she's smoking.